You've probably met two kinds of people. One saves every single dollar, avoids every luxury, and drives a car that sounds like it's begging for retirement. And they still, somehow, feel financially stuck. Then there's the other person. They seem to spend more freely, they're less stressed, they invest casually, and somehow they just end up wealthier over time. That feels completely backwards, because most of us were taught one simple rule about money. Save as much as you possibly can, and eventually you'll be secure. It sounds smart, it sounds responsible, it sounds like the kind of advice that should work. There's just one problem. Saving money is not the same thing as building wealth, and if you don't understand that difference, you can spend 20 years being good with money and still end up shocked by the results. That's the truth behind the whole spenders versus savers debate. It's not that reckless spenders are winning, it's that the people who actually get rich understand something most savers don't. Cash protects money. Investing grows it. Confusing those two jobs is one of the biggest financial mistakes you can make. Let's start with the saver. This person does everything right. They skip restaurants, they avoid unnecessary shopping, they keep their expenses low. Every month, like clockwork, they move money into a savings account. They're disciplined, they're responsible. They're the person everyone praises. Then 10 or 15 years go by. They finally look at the number they worked so hard to build, and it's bigger, sure, but it's not life-changing bigger, not freedom bigger, not I can finally stop worrying bigger. It's just bigger. And that's when the reality hits. They gave up a lot, and the reward for all that sacrifice feels weirdly small. Why? Because your bank balance is not your wealth. Your purchasing power is what matters. Not how many dollars are sitting in the account, but what those dollars can actually do for you. And this is where savers get trapped. The number in a savings account usually goes up. That feels safe. It feels like progress. But if inflation is rising and taxes are eating your interest, your real financial progress might be tiny. You're seeing growth on the screen, but not in the real world. That is a brutal realization. Right now, a high-yield savings account might pay around 4%. At first glance, that sounds great. You think, perfect, my money is finally working for me. But then the tax bill shows up. Savings interest is taxed as ordinary income, so you immediately lose a chunk of that return. Then inflation takes another bite. So even though the number in your account rises, the actual increase in your purchasing power can end up being extremely small, sometimes almost nothing. You can be doing the responsible thing and still be barely moving forward. That's the part nobody explains clearly. For long-term wealth building, a savings account is often just a waiting room. Safe, yes. Useful, yes. Powerful? Not really. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. When your money sits in the bank, who's getting the best deal? Usually it's not you. The bank takes your deposit and puts it to work. They lend it out through mortgages, credit cards, and business loans, and they collect much higher returns than what they pay you. You provide the capital, they collect the bigger reward. That's not a conspiracy, it's just how banking works. But once you understand that, it changes the question. You stop asking, how much more money should I save? And you start asking, why is my money working harder for the bank than it is for me? That changes everything, because now you're thinking like someone who allocates capital, not someone who just stores it. And that is the exact shift that separates savers from people who become wealthy. This is why the whole spenders versus savers debate is so misleading. The real winners are usually neither. They're not reckless spenders, but they're also not people hoarding cash forever and calling it a strategy. They're investors. That's the third category most people miss. And investors understand one thing really well. Some money should be safe, and some money should be growing. Those are two different jobs. When you force your cash to do the job of investing, you lose years without even realizing it. Let's make this simple. Take $10,000, put it in savings. It grows, slowly, safely. But after taxes and inflation, the real gain is far less impressive than you imagined. Now take that same $10,000 and put it into a broad, low-cost index fund. Now your money is attached to productive businesses. Now it can compound at a rate that actually changes your life. Now time is helping you instead of just passing by. Same person, same starting amount, same discipline, completely different destination. Wealth isn't just about how much you save, it's about where your money lives. Cash is a shelter, investments are an engine. Too many people are trying to get rich while keeping all their money in the shelter. And taxes make this even worse. Savings interest is taxed like your regular income, but long-term capital gains and qualified dividends from investments can get much better tax treatment. That means two people can earn money in different ways and keep very different amounts of it. One person earns interest from parked cash and gets taxed more aggressively. Another person earns investment income and gets more favorable tax treatment. It's a huge deal, but most personal finance advice is obsessed with budgeting and weirdly quiet about ownership. But ownership of businesses, of assets, of capital that can grow, that's where wealth comes from. Now, before anyone mishears this, let me be very clear. Savings accounts are incredibly important. You absolutely need cash, but for the right reasons. Savings are for emergencies, for short-term needs, for stability. They are not your primary wealth-building tool. That distinction matters a lot, because when people hear investing beats saving, some people act like emergency funds are optional. They are not. Please do not invest your rent money. Your emergency fund has one job: to protect you when life gets expensive, a medical bill, a job loss, a car repair. That is what savings are for. Cash is your defense, investments are your offense. You need both, but you need them doing the right jobs. So, what does the SMART framework look like? Step 1. Build a real emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a high-yield savings account. Not just some leftover cash, a real cushion. Step 2. Once that fund is built, start redirecting your extra money into investment accounts, a Roth IRA, a 401k, a brokerage account. For most beginners, broad, low-cost index funds are one of the simplest and most effective places to start. Step 3. Automate it. This is the difference between people who intend to invest and people who actually build wealth. When investing depends on motivation, people freeze. They wait, they overthink. They say they'll start when the market drops, then panic when it does. Automation removes the emotion. And in personal finance, boring systems beat dramatic intentions every time. And there are two tools people constantly underestimate. First, the Roth IRA. Money goes in after tax. It grows tax-free, and qualified withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. That is a massive advantage. Second, the employer match in a 401k. If your job offers a match and you are not taking all of it, that is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. It is free money, an immediate return. No savings account on earth competes with that. So, the simple rule: get the emergency fund, get the match, use the tax-advantaged accounts. Then stay consistent. That alone puts you ahead of a shocking number of people. But people still stay in cash for too long, and it's not always ignorance. Sometimes it's fear. Cash feels safe. The number doesn't bounce around. Investing moves, sometimes up, sometimes down, and that scares people, understandably. But over long periods, volatility isn't the biggest threat. Stagnation is, inflation is, wasted years are. That's the real quiet damage. Volatility is loud, so people notice it. Inflation is quiet, so people ignore it. But quiet damage is still damage. The real mindset shift is this: stop treating every dollar like its only job is to stay safe. Start assigning each dollar a purpose. Some dollars protect you, some dollars grow, some dollars stay liquid, some dollars build your future freedom. That is how wealth is actually built. Not by saving harder forever, not by worshiping safety. It's about understanding allocation. And once you understand that, the whole spenders versus savers argument stops looking so smart, because the real divide was never spenders versus savers. It was people who only stored money versus people who learned how to put it to work.